Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on April 8th, 2022 at approximately 3:30 a.m. PST. Well, stumbled across that one a bit. Anyway, time to bring the two worlds together, your home and your house. The best way to look at bringing your house together. Okay, hold that thought. I returned to this world, to this lifetime, for one simple reason, one simple message to pass on to everybody in existence. And that is that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. To this end, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel because we've got a lot of information coming up. There's a lot of work to be done to turn this society back around and make it work properly. But that all starts with you. Now, understanding this is a live recording, meaning when I get done the video, I don't edit anything. I simply check the date and post it. Okay, so all the hiccups, you get them all. Now, back to business. We've talked about getting the baseline done, and some of what we're talking today about has already been dealt with. But in order to bring the house and the home into final lock, it's time to start running your house like a business. Okay, now, in my understanding, and at least for me, running the house like a business works like a charm. The trick is to do this. It's a little late to decide whether or not you are ready to run your own house. Okay, this is a decision that really most people don't even think about. It's like, I want to move out on my own, or I've got to move out on my own. And out you go. Now you've got the business. You've got the house. So now, if you go back through the last few videos, I did lay out, we talked about a whole lot of things in the way of figuring out what your bills are. Start there. Okay, well, that's already been done. So now we take a look at the house. Okay, you've got to decide, what kind of house do you desire? Do you desire a house that's full of clutter, that's hard to get around, that that when company comes over, you're going, ooh, I don't really want to let them in the house? Or are you looking for a house that feels welcoming, feels lived in? Okay, there's a very big difference, especially if you have kids. There's a very big difference between having a house, right, and having a house or having a house that's dirty, or having a house that looks lived in. There will undoubtedly be stuff around. Okay, it works out that way. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not perfect. So once you've got that out of the way, once you've decided which type of house are you looking for, if you're looking for the cluttered, difficult to maneuver in type house, then frankly, you're probably not listening to this video. Okay, so with that in mind, time to get started, shall we? Oh, I did mention yesterday, and again, this still applies to today. Okay, you take a sheet of paper, and on it you put 4 words. I am worth it. I mentioned yesterday, you put one in your office, one in the kitchen. Okay, that holds the house and the home together. Well, I took that same sign. It is now on the front door of my apartment. Okay, and the reason for it is that it draws the energy in to make things work properly. And again, if you happen to have in your home, if you happen to have a reflective surface facing the door, facing the entrance of your main door, either move it or put flowers around the edge. Now, whether they are real plastic or decals, doesn't matter. It still alters the energy to let prosperity into your house. Okay. Also, make sure you have that sign that says, I have legally acquired a minimum of X dollars by April 30th, 2022 at 1 minute to midnight. Now that X is whatever it costs you to run the entirety of your house for a month. Okay. By doing this, you will find things shift gears very nicely. Now, as it turns out, okay, because of things I've been doing, I am starting to move forward. That letter I mentioned that I had sent out seems to have created an interesting side current. Okay. And like I mentioned when I sent the letter out, and I do encourage you, again, this is a tool I use. I feel much better about it in one sense. I put my boundaries out, and that's where I'm standing. Okay. But this whole issue of mine, the one drawback I have, and where did it go? No, oh, there it is. Add a little extra of mine. Right. So, do I have a tendency of indulging? Yes. Okay. Couple more figures to add to my collection. I'm probably somewhere in excess of 500. However, I have started painting all of them. So that works out well. Because from my standpoint, whoop, there we go. Yeah, I do not sit and do one thing on its own very often. The funny part here is once you get your head on straight, once you've got that idea that I'm going to run everything as a business, I'm going to run the house as a business, what you'll find happen is that you'll end up getting everything accomplished that you need to. Now here's the funny thing. Banks right now are not paying very well. Okay. They'll tell you they've got savings accounts and what have you, but in reality they don't. And here, let me explain that. Okay. If you take a look at it, that worked well. If you take a look at the way the businesses are, or that the banks run, okay, and I talked to a bank manager about this one day. I asked him point blank. I said, "Do you guys actually have a savings account?" And the guy, the bank and the manager says, "Well, yes. It doesn't pay well, but yes." I says, "Great. You care to explain to me? Because that's what I'm looking for." And he says, "Well," he says, "it only pays 0.25%. Now, this was a couple of years back. I don't know what it's paying now. But he says, it only pays 0.25%. I says, "Okay." So I said, "Correct me if I'm wrong on my math." Okay. At 0.25%, what you're telling me is I put $100 into the bank, and at the end of the year, you're going to give me an extra quarter. He goes, "Yes, that is correct." He says, "Like I said, it's not great." He says, "I don't actually set the numbers, but," he said, "it's not great, but that's what it is." I said, "Okay." I said, "Now work through that with me." Okay. I said, "You're going to give me a quarter. So at the end of the year, I'll have $100.25. He goes, "Yeah." I says, "But it's costing me $10 a month to keep that bank open." Right? He said, "Yeah." I says, "Well, that means it's going to cost me 120. Now, if you do the math, 120 minus 25 cents means this so-called savings bank of yours, this so-called savings account, is $119.75 in the hole. Like I'm actually $19.75 in the hole. I still owe you $19.75. I says, "How, pray tell, does that classify as a savings account?" Right? And he goes, "Well, gee, I never thought of it that way." And then he goes, "Wait a minute. How did you figure it out? I went to school to figure out how a bank works." I looked at him and I said, "Please tell me you did not think they were showing you how to make you money." Right. I said, "You learned how to make the bank money. And you've done that very well." Right. "Well, I'm not here to make me money. I mean, quite frankly, anybody wants to send me money, I'll be more than happy to accommodate." This is one of the things, in all fairness, I'm trying to figure out with the YouTube thing. Okay, with going live. And that's the thing I'm really concentrating on today. But you take a look at your house, at your home, and you go, okay, I'm going to run it like a business. So the first thing you do, the next thing you do, I should say, is take a look at your office and clear up the stuff that is cluttering it, that is stopping the energy from running. Now, you yourself will know what's working for you and what's not. Okay, it's up to you to make that decision, not up to me. I can't tell you what you're happy with. Well, in all fairness, I actually can't half the time. Right, but that's just one of the things I do. Yes, I'm making noise. Probably too much in a lot of ways. But for that, I will apologize. And it just dawned on me that could be an interesting problem. But here's the thing: when you look at your house, start in your office right now. Okay, while you're listening to me, get a look around the house, or get a look around your office, wherever you're working on your finances, and take a look. Is everything where it belongs? Now, in case you hadn't noticed, everything is not where it belongs. It's really funny. I've been up now for about an hour. I think. What time are we? Yep. I've been up for about an hour, which is really a stupid time to get up, if you ask me. Went to bed at 10:30, back up at 2:30. This is brilliant. Anyway, take a look at what you've got. Start getting the clutter out of the way. Okay, because if you don't do that, the energy's still going to be a little screwy. Now, here's the thing. Feng Shui works like a charm. The principle works. This is why you take a look at your office right off the bat, wherever, hopefully you've got a space that's located. But you take that sign, and I will find mine shortly, because it's in that stack of paperwork. When I was trying to clean things up the other day, I packed everything up. Not necessarily the brightest move, but it was necessary. Because you get things contained first, then start going through them. But it's time to start running your house, like a business. Okay. You start with the office desk. Clear it off. Make sure you know what you've got, that you can see what you're working with, and move forward from there. This is imperative. Once you start looking at your house as a business, two things happen. First and foremost, it'll start to run more smoothly. You'll find prosperity starts coming to you. Secondly, and this is a mistake that many, and I'll relegate it to, most of the time it's males that make this mistake. There are some females. Okay, and the mistake is this. You look at the person staying home to raise the kids, to take care of the house, what they used to call a stay-at-home mom. And the person that's not staying home goes, oh, they're not working, they're just staying at home. They're running the home business. Or more to the point, they're running the business of the house. Okay. And you've got to look at the business of your house in exactly the same way. If you're running a business, you desire the building to be welcoming. You desire it to be neat and tidy. You desire to make a decent impression, because the idea is, when you're running a business, to make it inviting so it encourages people to come in and spend money, spend time there and spend money. Well, clearly, if you're bringing people into your home, you're not likely hoping they leave money. Although in my case, I'm always quite grateful for somebody that leaves their money behind, not their wallet. Problem is, in my case, if somebody leaves their money behind and I know it's somebody else's, I was raised to believe if it wasn't yours, leave it there. But it's time to look at your house as a business. Start getting the clutter out of the way. Make it inviting. Make it substantially different than what it is. If you're used to living your life in a clutter, Okay, this is the time to stop that. Hopefully that didn't do that. Oh, good. I thought for a minute there I'd shut the video off. Okay, so you look at it and go, okay, is the energy start in the office? Okay, is the energy in my office running smoothly? If it is, this is a great thing. If not, it's time to turn it around. But you've got to be the one doing the work. One of the things that I know I've got to do, and it's only going to happen one way, is I desire my left hand to work. Well, it's only going to work if I actually start working with it. Because I can run the mouse over on this side. Don't need that there. That worked. Again, if things are not where they belong, you run into snags. Okay, perfect. Move the mouse and worry about that. As you can tell, I'm having a lot of fun with technology. I've got my mouse on my right side over here. Okay, now it's time to get my pen working on this side. Okay, but my coffee cup's over here, so I'm quite happy about that. It was weird. I woke up this morning with the idea, with my brain working beautifully, except for the fact it was like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, really? Okay. So get the energy moving in your office the way it is required. Okay. In my case, it's very simple. And this is why I build myself as a spiritual guide. The tools I'm offering you are exactly the same tools I personally use to change the direction the energy in my house is running. Okay, and to correct the mistakes that I've been making in the past. Okay, now prior to now, it was true ignorance. I understood it from other people, but it didn't get to my heart. Now I know exactly what I've got to do, and this is where your stubborn streak can come in really, really handy. Okay, make the decision that your house is going to be your business. Okay, now one of the things that it just dawned on me. One of the things that I realized is when I said in the letter I wasn't going to tell people where my finances were or how they got there. I mean, yes, I have been talking to you about it. Okay, but the issue is if you're running a business, you do not have to you don't tend to tell people this is how much money I made this week or this month. Okay, the reason I'm telling you is because it puts it in practical terms. That is one of the reasons. The second reason is by doing these logs, I'm actually reminding myself, and that helps me immensely in getting things moving. Okay, this is why you look at your house as a business. And you'll notice the distinction. Your house is run as a business. Your home is a whole different thing. And we'll get back to that tomorrow. But you take a look at it, get the energy running right. In other words, get the clutter out of the way. Once you do that, it will be more inviting for you. It will be more enticing to focus on the actual income that is required to run your household. Now, for me, okay, I require $2,500 a month to run my entire house. Okay, oddly enough, that includes running my business short of buying supplies. Okay, once you've got that done, you'll find the energy in your house is working better, especially in the brainchild. If you're having trouble thinking, okay, once I'm done this video, I'll be turning on music to let that run. Okay, because it does drive energy levels up. You don't have to believe me, but I will tell you. Okay, if you're fighting depression, if you're feeling like you're stuck in one place and you're just spinning your wheels, Find the fastest dance-paced music you can, even while you're working in the office. Okay. Now, if you find depression, it's one thing. If you're striving to just keep your energy running, don't turn it up so high you can't think. Okay. Watch your volume levels, but turn dance music on because it will get your adrenaline going. It'll get your mind working. And it's very much a question of getting the mind of the house working properly. And again, these are simply tools I personally use. These are the philosophies of life that I live by. Okay, now these are the only 3 laws I ever follow. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Okay, now those 3 laws are all I follow, but if you compare those laws to the ones you follow, we do believe that you'll find that all of the ones you follow fit inside the 3 that I follow. Okay, but it's going to take work. Now, there are 2 books that I am working on. One shows you how to make money. Well, technically, I'm working on, I think, 32. I got to do that today, too. But I'm working on one that shows you how to use minimal money. There's a lot of great books out there if you're making $30,000, $40,000 to work with, that'll tell you how to make money. What I'm writing is one that tells you how to make money that is just only a little bit of money. Okay. How to make that little bit grow. Now, it will not grow at the speed. Actually, in all fairness, come to think of it, it will. It won't grow at the numbers that you will grow as you get more money. Okay. But it will, in all likelihood, grow at the same speed, percentage-wise. Now you think of it this way. If you've got $100 and it grows 1%, you've got $101. Not much, but it still grows. If you've got $1,000, it'll grow $10. And again, that's not really a whole lot. The fact is, it's still the same growth. It's just smaller numbers. Okay, and that's where the benefit comes in. Now, the really neat part about it from your end is that you can actually make things work. Sure, try writing with a pen that doesn't work. Bet that doesn't work that well. Of course, when you think about it, if you're trying to write on paper with a pen that doesn't work, you can go back over it with pencil and see what it says. That's something I should show my son, actually. It's one of those funny little things from the way distant past, also known as a pencil etching. I think that's what they called it. But you take a look at it, get the energy running. So let's just make a couple of notes. Remember that thing I mentioned about the list? It works like an absolute charm. But, I digress. I'm writing one book that concentrates on how to make money when you've only got a little bit, when you're working with the average income. Not these millionaires go, oh, join me. I saw one the other day. And he goes, I'm a very generous person. I'm going to give this to you. And it's going to, because this is how I made money. I'm going to tell you how to do it. And then at the end of it, he says, take this class. Well, really? I'm not telling you to take mine. I'm not telling you, give me money and I'll tell you how to do this. I'm simply saying this is what I've done. If you choose to spend the time and listen to what I'm talking about, the reason I call these practical tools is because they have worked for me. Now, the one book, and it will be coming out as soon as I can get it completed to my satisfaction, focusing on how to take that little bit of money and make it work. I'm writing another one that tells you exactly the steps that you require, and these are blanket steps. They apply to everyone. I'm a firm believer there is no difference between people. There's differences between pocketbooks, and obviously there's differences as in physical. but the value of individuals is identical. And if a tool will work I heard it put one day, if you can't explain what you're doing in simple terms, you don't know it well enough. Well, I've spent the majority of my life on the edge of poverty. I know how to deal with it, and this is where I'm focusing. So the other book I'm going to be working on is how to be successful. Now, understand, success is a personal thing. For some people, success will be running an effective house. For others, it'll be running a small business, a kind of a, if you will, a family restaurant or a family corner store. For some people, it'll be running a bigger business. Maybe you envision yourself running an international conglomerate. Now, for me, yes, I'm reclusive. There's no question. Okay. But for me, success is very simple. I start with the first part, me. Now, I've attained the thing that I really desired to attain. Okay, and again, you run it like a business. Okay, everything gets run if you run it like a business with the heart of a home. Okay, in other words, yes, focus on the monetary prosperity. Absolutely do. But that has to be a side effect of running things properly. Okay, money has got to be, you've got to get away from this idea that money is the goal. If you make your business, if you make your home more inviting, the money will come in. It is simply an agreed upon barter system. That's all money is. And if you focus on making your home more inviting, on getting along with people better, on being genuinely decent people, okay, get away from this idea that you have to have everything top of the line. You don't. You have to have everything that makes you feel better in your environment. This is why I say be true to yourself first. Now we're at the half hour mark, so with that in mind, I'm going to bring this to a close. We'll try English. I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sake, stay positive.